Everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me, thank you so much for joining us. If you can hear me, you can use the comment box to say, I can hear you. Right. I'm so much excited to be here today. I believe you are also excited. Tonight is going to be a very interesting night. I was conversing with my guest earlier, and the conversation was top notch. The what you'll be learning tonight is something that a lot of people pay for. All right, people go to conferences and pay for lectures like this, and I'm so much excited to welcome you all to Life Clinic Talk Show. Life Clinic Talk Show. Some people call it hot seat. I said the seat is not hot. The seat is just normal. Right. So if you are watching this maybe from Facebook, from YouTube, let me know where you are watching from. Comment your name and tell me where you are watching from. Comment your name and tell me where you are watching from. I will see it right here. And interestingly, my guest, I don't need to wait for my guest. My guest is already in the studio with me, right? Yes, it's already in the studio with me. I mean, you will learn so much tonight. You will learn so much tonight. And I'm very, very excited about what we are talking about. It's money talk, right? Money talk. And I know you are interested in money. Right. I know you're interested in money. It's a subject that I know especially many Christians are shy away from because many are seeing it uh, as termed it as something evil, right? And you will learn so much tonight because it is important. Poverty is not it's an agenda of the enemy to stop the propagation of the kingdom of God, right? So it is important that you are wealthy. It is important that you have cash, so that you will not struggle, right? And I think something that is more important than having cash is you learning how to manage cash, right? Is it cash or cash? Right. I'm so much excited. I can't wait to bring in my guest. I can see some people are already joining. Right. I think I have some comments already in the comment chat. Let me see. Let me see. All right. So I can see one of our guests that we invited last year. Definitely, I'm bringing him again this year. Ogashijo Ade, thank you so much for joining. He spoke extensively on leadership last year. Definitely, we are bringing him in again this year. Thank you so much, sir, for joining right from Accra. So anywhere you are joining from, for others, tell us your name and where you are watching us from. Again, my name is Olavisoye Ige, and I'm your host here at Life Clinic Talk Show. We are getting better, right? For some of you that have been joining us, you will discover that this is another tool that we are using here, right? So, and hopefully we keep on getting better and better. Without any further ado, I'm still awaiting your comments. Without any further ado, I want to bring in my wonderful, and some people call him handsome guest. But when you see him now, you will definitely affirm that truly this guy is fine. Right. Shall I? Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor
It's my
Idowu. Thank you
pleasure.
so much for joining this evening. I'm
Thank
so
you
much
for having
excited
me.
to have a handsome face like yours appearing in my show. One thing I'm so much excited, one thing that motivates me about, conversations like this is that, one day that you are you are talking in TEDx or one of these top, talk show, I will be proud of myself that, yes, there was a time too, I invited this man to my show, right? And I'm so much excited about you coming. Thank you so much. And I really do not think we are friends, but I really do not take your coming here for granted. Thank you so much, brother. And I pray God will keep strengthening our cord of friendship in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for really having me around. It's really a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Right. Right. Thank you, sir. So my guest today is Idowu Victor or Victor Idowu, whichever you prefer, but his first name is Victor. And it's no surprise we are inviting him here because one way or another, he's going to tell us his secrets hopefully today he has been victorious on this matter of finance. Is one of my friends. When I say I have rich friends, is one of my friends that I can say that yes, no, God is helping, right? And I said something for some of you that you followed my 31-day challenge on Facebook, that Victor said, by any standard, is not a poor man. You rarely hear that from an average Nigerian. Even the rich people, we still say, "Hey, God is helping us, God is helping us." But
God
I
is
heard
helping me
him.
too.
So Victor is the CEO and the principal web designer at, hmm, I want to be careful to pronounce it, to pronounce it
Vicent.
correctly. Vicent.
Vicent.
I
Exactly.
don't know why I call it Vicent. I mean, it's but Vicent
It's
Hub.
Yoruba translation.
Yoruba. Right, right, right. So is the principal designer, web designer at Vicent Hub. Victor, thank you once again. Welcome to Life Clinic Talk Show.
My pleasure. It's really my pleasure to be here, and it's a great honor. Thank you so much once again.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Victor. To start, Victor, I don't know, maybe you could just give us a more, elaborate introduction of yourself so that our audience today, I believe so quite a few number of persons are already joining us, watching and enjoying this conversation already. But I know many people really want to know, who is this handsome man I'm bringing, handsome young man. And please tell us that you are married so that so that we'll be on the same ground. Right, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much once again, Mr. John Olafisoye. You're really a wonderful person. You've motivated me quite a lot of time. We've known each other for quite a while now, so it's really a great pleasure. You're my Oga, remains my Oga. So, my name once again is Victor Idowu, and I'm married, as a way of introduction. Um, in terms of my profile, I would say that I'm the principal designer, just like you said, and also the CEO for Vicent Group of Companies. That's the end result. But for now, we're titled Vicent Hub. So my goal is that it's going to be a group of companies with a lot of subsidiaries. So Vicent Hub, majorly we focus on designing website graphics, video animation, and quite a whole lot of things regarding the online as well as writing too. Uh, about me, so far so good. I think my journey has quite been very interesting and as well somewhat rough. I feel the reason why I need to talk about my story and the background to where I am right now, and of course the things I'm doing right now that is really going to set the pace for where I'm going, so that we can be able to direct and stay out there. So many of us that are on the group, I mean, that this on this live show may be well to do, of course, like you're already doing well whatever you're doing. Some of us are already making money for whatever we're doing currently, which is very fine. But some are still like in the believe about 50%, 60, 70 are still in the process of trying to find a balance on getting this financial freedom we are talking about. So, in a very brief way, I would say that who is someone who was very passionate about living an independent life. That was one of the things that kind of set me on the course. Ever since I was very young, I wanted to do things on my own. I wanted to live on my own. I don't know why, but maybe experientially, looking at some people, I've seen how the fact that they've depended on their parent and now they were being shortchanged at the end of the day. At least I've heard about a story of a core member that was coming back home, someone that's been nurtured for over many years, maybe over 20 years, thereabout. As this guy was coming home, his dad called him and told him, "Don't come back home. Go and look for a job." So I didn't want to have that kind of rough landing whereby I'm starting from zero and I need to build something all of a sudden within space of little time. So that taught me a lesson that I really need to build my foundation of independence as quick as possible. That was not possible before I entered school because just like every African parent, go and read your book, go and learn, go and do this. As at that time, it was go and do your WAEC. After I finished WAEC, oh, they said go and do your jam. After I finish jam, do post jam. Enter school. What again? I even have the 100 level. What? So it was all that motion. And that's why I do tell youths and many people that really have the opportunity that break off yourself from the wings of African parents' culture. Break off from that wing as fast as you can. Why is because you will begin to learn how to fly as fast as you can. That's how eagles raise its children. Eagle will take up an eaglet from a very great height, will throw him down. He's wanting him to learn how to fly. Then he will pick him up again, throw him down. And over time, such kind of baby, those kind of eaglets, no masters the act of flying through risk. But Nigerian parents will just throw down an eaglet and will not mind if the eaglet will crash land or not. They won't pick him up again. So there's a default system, and you need to fight yourself away from it. So that was what even led me to, even after I finished first degree, I stayed back in school. I was like, I can't go back home and start doing every other thing that my co-mates will be doing, going back home eating gari bandodo. I was like, no, 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 no. There needs to be a change because I look at myself, nothing, no skill that could really make money. So this passion was the one led me, but I said, let me go and volunteer. Don't forget, begin to know some of these things in my track records. Let me volunteer. And I was volunteering for a company over there in Akure called Zaprak. It was in the course of that, I don't want to say a lot of stories. It was in the course of that that I got to know about a service, learned about a service that I'm working with Try. Was it very smooth? No. The journey was very rough. I go hungry many times. Today I can be thinking of what I'll eat second day, third day, fourth day. While in today, because today I'm drinking Gary, I don't know what I'll eat next tomorrow. So it was just living on pennies. That was how the journey was then. But I told myself I'm not going to go back home. So why? Because it is in pressure that you grab opportunity. People don't grab opportunity in comfort. People don't grab opportunity when you are convenient. But I know that next 2 or 3 months is uncertain. I mean, it's uncertain for me. So this time, any opportunity that comes around me, I grab it. So that was the condition of what happened then. That led me into website design. Started learning. I mean, it was 9 class upon 9 class, staying, learning, and all of that. I was like, I must make money. And the funniest was the fact that my learning was so fast because of hunger. Sorry to say this, Yoruba. If you eat pie, do shako. When hunger
Mm,
wire, you know go you know go get choice. So I learned a skill that could take 6 months in about a month. In 1.5 months, I started earning from that particular skill. Can you see how amazing hunger can be a wonderful lesson? So
mm.
of the rest was just stories of having to learn how I can now diversify my income, going to several other things to learn from. I mean, also how to manage my weight, which I feel will share more about it today. So that's the little glimpse of my story, and I feel we can pick a lot of lessons from it. Thank you.
But thank you so much for the wonderful introduction you're giving to us. And just like I said, you've taken us through your experience of money, right? How you started your journey. And, one of the interesting things about conversations like this is that, people tend to see the glory and they do not learn from the story. And
Mm,
it is behind the story that we can get the true value. Right. So
exactly.
I want you to just again, maybe briefly, I know you've mentioned it, but again, I want you to just talk about exactly or lessons. Let me make it more personal now. Lessons that you learned at the beginning of your journey towards financial freedom.
Well, there are quite numbers of lessons. Maybe I can talk about notable ones that changed my life. The first I will put is doggedness and commitment. There's nothing in life that you want to change without these attributes: doggedness and commitment. There are things, let me say, for instance, what helped me in this phase of life, that's 2020, was the fact that I burnt the bridge behind me so that I can stay commitment to a cause. What is the cause? Financial freedom. You need a skill that will make money for you. And so that helped me in knowing that it's either I die or I get this thing once and for all. Commitment, doggedness. There were temptations to wanting to go back home, honestly. But I told myself I'm not going to do that. Why? I want to stay and learn amidst hunger, amidst several depressive situations. To tell the stories, I had to move to several friends' house, almost about 4 different persons within 6 months period. Let me use the word quoting. I left first degree with a notable kind of stigma, or how would I put it, popularity. So yet I had to break that thing down. That's still the same environment that has to still come around. People will be asking me questions. What are you doing in Akure? Many people will tell me, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not saying Akure is where the good is, but you need to look in deep that where is going to be your thriving environment. Based on your experience, you can be able to see where's going to be my thriving environment. So I saw that Accra is one of the places. Of course, that was based on intuition, though. At the time, I struggled with it, but that was fundamentally what led me to say, let me come back to Akure. Apart from other things like learning skills, relationship-wise, and every other thing, relationship-wise, exactly. So the doggedness was one of the first thing I kind of really learned that led to that transition. Number two was understanding the value of what I'm doing. Now that I have the skill, now that I have the service, I now begin to sit down. At the time, why do I need to, why am I, why did, what led me here? It was that I was rendering values to people, and the monetary reward was not very much. Example, CV writing. I was doing that 1,000 naira, 500 naira for people, and people will still be almost telling me to do it for free. But when I began to write for people outside the country, and I was seeing the comment of what they were giving me back, the feedbacks were almost 5 stars and all of that. I told myself, if wise people can appreciate what I'm doing, then people should be able to pay more for what I'm servicing them in Nigeria. So I almost from 500, 1,000, I multiplied by five at that time, 5,000 there for just a CV, and I can finish that in an hour. Later on, I was like, oh, I need to change something. I increased it to 15,000. Now it's ranging from 15 to 20,000 naira for just a document. Of course, there's a lot of intellectual. But what led me to that point? I sat down, I asked myself, what is my service doing to people? I discovered that writing a CV could help somebody get a job that can pay him 1 million naira. And this is just a one time payment. I'm giving this example so that you can begin to analyze your business. You can interpolate this idea into whatever business you're doing. Either you're into fashion, either you're into teaching, either you're into lecturing, either you're into anything. In fact, this great man, Dr. Miles Morrow, he said he was undercharging himself until somebody called him and they were conversing. And this person said, I'm not as good as you are. Honestly speaking, he was telling Dr. Miles Morrow, and I charge about $5,000 for just 1 hour. So that changed my moral thought and I began to charge much more. So you need to understand the value of what you're giving out, and that will help you to price. So this shaped my finances. So I that was charging a little amount before, I began to double it, and people are still able to afford it. So number three, it also taught me to know who am I going to be serving. So I began to streamline my audience. I told myself I can't serve everybody. So if you don't know my worth, I can't serve you. You understand? And I began to
Yeah.
watch a lot of videos that could really help me in understanding how to charge, how to make much more money. I began to read books that really helps me on how to save and manage wealth. So these are few steps. Number one, like I said, be ready to go under a mentor, like I did. Be ready to volunteer. Number three, understand your value, understand what you're doing, what service, what problem are you solving. Understand very well, analyze it. I tell people, if you come to me, I will tell you, write 20 things that your service can solve. By the time you do that, you are helping your thoughts mind to think that you don't need to beg people to pay for your service. And people, you should not, there's a way you can charge. I can, if I charge you for what I'm doing right now, I can begin to feel like, oh, I'm not overcharging. Why? Mindset. If I tell you that I'm going to charge you $100,000 for this call, I can, because I understand the value of what I'm doing. But somebody can charge $100,000 and you feel like, hey, you'll be scared. I've talked to somebody, I made the price one time, and the person was like, I saw you scratching your head. That shows that you are overcharging me. So there's a way that it could be expressional. So you need to bring your mindset to a state where you understand that you are not doing people a favor. I mean, they are not doing you a favor, but you are doing them much more favor, and quite a number of things like that. So these are the few stages in my life that shifted me to begin to increase myself in this journey of work. And I feel if you begin to apply some of these methods, it will really help you.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Victor, for
Yeah,
that. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And I believe for many people that are already on the show now, they are already having one or two things to glean on. Victor, I want us to just go further to talk about budgeting. All right. Because I guess for the majority of persons, should I say the majority of persons? Here, let me just say the majority of persons that might be watching now are earning something. It might not be enough. It might not be so massive, right? I know, or I can guess as much that what you are earning right now is not the same thing you were earning when you started, right?
Of course.
So I want you to talk to us about how do you approach budgeting? Maybe any tips for someone just starting out to manage their finances?
Okay. Budgeting. Budgeting in simple terms is just financial projection of what your expenses will look like in a layman language. So meaning it's you're trying to project what is going to be the cost of my livelihood, either for a month or for a year. And
Mm,
there are a lot of things you need to look at when you begin to talk about budgeting. First, like I said, it can be annual, it can be weekly, it can be for a period of time, it can be monthly. It depends on what you have in mind. But let me just restrict myself into monthly because most of us runs either on monthly salary or monthly returns. And I might drift a little bit into people doing business. And why am I doing that? I'm intentionally forcing every salary earner that is hearing me today to begin to think about having a business. Somebody said something while I was entering university. He said his boss told him he's a mechanical engineer in Nesu, one of my senior brother while I was growing up. He told me that his white boss told him that that's maybe like his head manager or so. He told me, he said, do you know that you cannot become a millionaire working in this organization? Nesu. Nesu is a place that everybody is jumping to go to, yes or no. You can't become the world richest. You may become a millionaire, maybe working in another industry, but you can't become world richest, being a salary earner. I've not seen somebody becoming the world richest so far. Go and check all the Forbes list. First 100, you can't see either working in oil industry or whatsoever. You can't see anybody there. Those you will see on the world ranking are those who are CEOs, who are founders, who are creating solutions.
mm,
So I am forcing everybody right now, coming back to the concept of budgeting, that either you are a salary earner, you must begin to look into other streams of income. And what is that? Doing a business. And business cut across quite a lot of things. You can begin to look into service, can begin to look into goods, can begin to look into consultation, which is still under professional service. Why? Because you are trying to put yourself on the course of passive income. uh, I'm telling myself that I want to start retiring early. Today I was learning about early retirement. One of the banking officers should be 50 something years of age. He said he's retiring next year. Why? You need to begin to think futuristic. So, what are the things that would help you? You can't begin to think of retiring early, knowing the things that are at stake if you are a salary earner. Back into context, budgeting. Number one thing that could help you as somebody doing business is that you must separate yourself from your business or from whatever salary you're earning. Let me try and add you salary earners into picture. You must separate yourself from your business. So as I have a business budget and I also have a family budget. Now,
mm,
for my own sake, as a family man, I learned that it was not something that I wanted to, but I learned that for married couples, they enjoy each other more when they have a joint account. Based on research, people who run joint accounts make much more money than people who run separate accounts. So you can doubt that, but that's not for today. So separate yourself from the business. I have a personal account and then I have a business account. From my personal account, from my business account rather, I have a salary coming into my personal account. Let's give, for instance, I would have loved to share a tracker. Maybe let me see if I can share my screen. Uh, Maybe I'll try and see while talking if I can do that. So from my business account, I have a certain amount of money that is coming to my personal life. I make a million naira. I make a million naira. From a million naira, I'm saying I'm paying myself 400K as my personal salary. In my business account, I also have business expenditure. So meaning I expect that probably the running cost of fuel, running cost of data, running cost of every other things that I'm doing in my business should come from there. Are you getting my point? That is business account.
Mm-hmm.
My business must also have savings, same as my personal accounts must also have savings. So I'm operating my life outside my business. Are you getting my point? Number two thing that you need
Yeah.
to know is that you need to what has been working for me and what has been said based on my mentor. He said something. He said, if you are more than 30 years of age, you need to cultivate the habit of saving 35% of what you are earning.
Mm.
So if you're less than 30 years of age, you need to save 30%. So meaning you don't need to you must not spend more than 70, but save 30. So for somebody making a million who is spending 400,000 naira salary, from my salary, I must not spend more than 70% of my salary in a month. So I don't know what that figure is. If you can calculate that, put that on the chat box, let us see. So now, in my savings, I now divide my savings into three, but personally I run four. But I divide into three majorly. Number one is emergency fund. Emergency fund is such that anything that happens suddenly, I can go to that account. So emergency is not impulse wants. Cancel that. I'm not saying, hey, I saw fancy iPhone, let me go and buy. That's not emergency. Emergency is something that relates to life and death. So that's
Mm.
emergency fund. And that takes 10% out of my savings. Remember 30%. Second aspect is what? Is personal development fund. And that personal development fund talks about um, everything you could think about that will add to your knowledge, that will add to your development. You want to buy a course, you want to buy books, you want to buy anything that will add value to you. So why? It's because many people don't value knowledge, but you will remain at that level to your knowledge. So I say that is because of what you know and what you don't know that keeps you at the spot where you are right now. If you know more, you earn more. It's because I learned more about what I do. That's why I'm earning more than what I used to do. Are we getting it? So add, create a
Yeah.
budget for learning. So I don't need to use that money this month. I don't need to use it next month. But a time can come that I need to buy a course. I was about buying a course that was close to about 1.2 million naira. Although I don't have that money at that time, but I was ready to stake almost every other things for it. But I am staking on the savings I have on my personal development fund. Why? By the time I do this particular course, it will help me to begin to increase my earning by times two.
Mm.
So I'm ready to sacrifice whatever amount of money for it. It looks expensive, but like the Bible says, buy knowledge.
The truth.
What am I
Mm.
saying? Buy what did
Buy the
my passage? I
truth.
don't know the scripture. Buy the truth and sell it
Buy the
not.
truth and sell it not. Yeah.
And sell it not. So I'm ready to buy as much as possible. So this budget is available for it. The last one is regular savings. That one is untouchable, no matter what happens. So that's untouchable. You can touch PDF for learning. You can touch emergency for anything. For regular savings, you can't touch it. So I'll still talk later on areas you can put it that can really help you. For me, I have families or children supports. So that is because I'm a family man. I have that as well. A man said, I am saving up for my Harvard school, for the Harvard school fees of my children. He said he
Mm.
started since he was about 20 something years of age. Imagine how much that could be right now. So you can begin to plan for the future, and that could really help. That's number two. And number three, before I share my screen, is that um, you need to give up from African mentality of being over merciful. And I'll end on that note so that I won't take too much of our time. That has killed me in the past, and I want to share that as a wonderful truth. These are the things that really cracks people from spending too much. You might have budgeted that you are spending this amount of money. Usually, I tell myself that it's almost like I'm giving much more than I'm even doing to myself. So those
Mm.
times I was not wise. I started buying food, eating, enjoying my life. I can know that at least I'm making money because
Money.
literally almost most of my money goes to borrow me this, borrow me that. So you need to be frugal when it comes to money. And when I'm talking about frugal, you need to be wise enough. You could have some questions, you can drop it, it could be somehow. But this is what I mean. Every time in my budget, I have a certain amount of money that I budgeted for giving. So if I want to give out to people, I have a certain amount of money that I'm giving out to people. If it goes much, it can't go much more than that. Beyond that, so the only thing that can make it go more than that is because I'm a Christian, that God is infusing me, and I've trained myself to be not to be moved by emotions. So if you are not trained yourself, your mind will still be telling you what God is not saying. So I'll train my emotions to decipher that this is my emotions running and this is God speaking. So it's only at that spot that I can begin to shoot into my other. That means I have to sacrifice my other wants for your own need. So over merciful talks about even not being over merciful to yourself when you really need to. And over merciful talks about not being over merciful to others because people want to become El Shaddai, providing for other people's wants. Remember, when anybody tells you, I need 10,000 naira on your DM, he's sending it to 5 different people, looking for the merciful one that will answer him. Am I saying you should not give? No. So, either you answer or not, man has been structured to always look for alternative. And I do say, try it one day. The person that will tell you, I will die if you don't give me this money. I will die if you don't give me this money. So go back to his time, ask the person, are you still alive? You see that people will still
Mm,
survive without you. So
mm,
that's because you could not even live your life such that 20 years time, people will look at you that Olowo. So you
mm,
must be wise enough to know that your money is for your present and also for the future. God gives the seed and also gives the bread. Bread is for your current time and the seed is for your future. So don't eat your seed today and don't also plant your bread. So enjoy your life, help people right now, as well as also invest into your future. So I think this could help because of time. I will not want to. It's a whole lot of things you can talk about from today to tomorrow.
right.
Getting is so
Yeah.
wide. So let me just share my screen to give a view overview, if you don't mind. Let me see if it's possible. All right. So if you look at this can track. After the call, you can chat up the host to get this track. I can release it. It was given for me for free. Freely have I received. Freely I will share. So, like I said, I and my wife were running joint account. So as well, you could see the whatever flow is coming as salary. Now we have expenses, groceries, a lot of things, PHCN, security. I have categories for it under expenses, capital expenses, rent, everything unplanned. So unplanned is where you see traveling, healthcare, miscellaneous. You can see miscellaneous there in case of incasity. Child support is part of expenses, not even part of savings yet. Gift and support. So every gift I'm giving to people is inside gift and support.
Mm,
Monthly seed, maybe I want to give seed to certain persons, maybe spiritual people, or maybe to a community, gift and support. Monthly crusades, I run that. Church offering, I have a figure. So in a month, I already know how much I'm paying for offering, except God is saying, but boss, pay more, but most likely, I don't even hear it. So thank God for that. So parents, I try to, but on recent times, we have to intentionally cost down because of increasing demands. So because you also have to avoid black tax, you can see the figure. The figure is not so exorbitant. Why? Because many people are putting themselves in too much chains of what they can't finance. You are the firstborn of the family and you are feeling like you need to pay your school fees, the school fees of your siblings. And the last one of the family, yet I still have a lot of persons saying, Egbon, 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 Egbon. So I have a budget for it that is reasonable, very, very small amount. In fact, it could only just do a little. So don't put yourself under a duress so that you can plan yourself and later on you can have much more strength. Somebody said, don't kill yourself right now rather than investing so much such that you can be able to help people very well. Don't forget, because Tobati Paret Deni, if you kill yourself today, there's nobody to help later on. So you can see transportation, you can see all those categories. Then you can see savings. Look at what I just did. So here, I budgeted amount of money that's going to savings. emergency, regular, children. Can you see? So I'm not giving you fabu. So those are the things you can begin to look at when you begin to talk about budgeting. And this goes for every month of the year. Can you see January, February, March, April, May? Debt. At the time I was paying debt, can you see? I have to go into that. So, but now let me not talk about that because of time. So, those are the things you can begin to look into when you talk about budgeting, and these are the things that will really help you to push you into this freedom. Your mindset, you need to change your. I have to change my mindset and say no without looking back. Say no
Mm.
without feeling guilty. Say no without feeling like I was a people pleaser. But I discovered that if I don't begin to take this drastic step, I'll become a pauper later, and people will tell me, the same people I'm helping will tell me that, Victor, you you know wise. So that's the
Mm.
fundamental thing you need to do when you're talking about budgeting, and many, many more like that.
Right. Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much. I mean, that's very, very detailed. I think if I'd known that you have a template like this, I think I wouldn't have. Basically, I guess, when we were talking earlier, I told you about the book I was reading. After I read the introduction and chapter one, I just had the idea that it is important I begin to cross check my to document my budgeting and to have an Excel sheet to monitor my spending, because I said to myself, I said, I think I save quite well, right? But I feel I spend, but I can't really track where my spending is going to,
Expenses.
right? So that was when I created that Excel sheet, and I think everybody, you should also have your Excel sheet. You should monitor where your money is going to. All right, how much is
Exactly.
coming in? A lot of people have millions pass through their hands in a month, and they don't know, because millions that is passing through their hands comes in bits, right? But if you track your expenses and you see, what, really, you will know that simple bread, buying bread has taken over 50,000 naira from your hands, right? So, but if you don't track your expenses, there is no way you will be able to discover that. So, Victor, thank you so much for this. And just like you said, I mean, the audience will really be happy to have this template to really monitor their expenses. Victor, I want you now to talk to us about savings. A lot of people still do not save. I remember I was talking somewhere and I was talking about the benefit of saving, and somebody
Mm.
replied. I mean, it was like in a seminar, right? And the person said it in Yoruba. He said, "Oh, what you do, man? If I save pẹ̀lú ẹ̀." All right, that the money is not even enough. How do you save from a money that is not enough? And I think one of the defining moments for savings for me is a book I read some years back, The Richest Man in Babylon. All right, that book was so detailed and
Robert,
bound on
Robert
savings.
Kiyosaki?
Is it the one that wrote it? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's
No,
the one. It's not the one.
it's not the one. It's not the
Richest
one.
Man in
To be
Babylon.
honest.
Right. So, but I want you to talk to us, especially for young people, or people that, okay, yeah, they now understand that, okay, if truly I have to save, how do I save? Where do I save? Questions around saving. I don't know, maybe you could just, take us deep into that.
Okay. I think that's by Georges Classen, not Robert Kiyosaki. Classen. Now, when it comes to saving, see, woman wants and needs are insatiable. There's no stage in life you
Mm,
ever get to. Somebody is asking for the name. So the name is what's it called? Richest Man in Babylon. That's S class in George S class in. Now, there's no amount of money that you want to make that will ever be enough. See, let me tell you the truth. The
mm,
time I was starting my journey and I was making uh, about, I think the first time I had earned money after leaving school heavily, that I know I earned, was about 144,000 naira in a month. I was very happy that day. That was the first thing I was super happy. Maybe other ones are just 200 naira, 500 naira, 1,000 from CV writing that I was doing then, like I said. So the same way I was feeling that time, the same way I was also feeling as at this current time, when there are other zeros added to the same figure. What do I mean? Every time your expenses will always increase. So don't ever expect that you will be at a time whereby there won't be wants again and there won't be needs. As I am now, if I want to shut down my expenses to become zero, I know the things I can buy. If I just, I mean, I bought a little collection recently and just on one spot, buying about five clothes or so, 100K, piang, has gone. And I was like, of course, as at the time, I can't afford this. But
Mm.
looking at it, the same me can also buy the same kind of clothes for about 1 million. I mean, those five or six clothes, just going to Versace, one Versace can be as much as
Mm.
if somebody showed me a picture of a bag that is as much as $8,000, just one bag. So, meaning as your finances increase, there is tendency that your taste will increase. Don't ever come to this point where you feel that you will be satisfied or you will be able to save. So, meaning that you must learn to be disciplined. That's the first thing because you will never be satisfied, you must learn
Yeah.
that you must be disciplined. So I told my wife something recently when we were having struggles. I told him, okay, now that I've allotted this amount of money for our monthly salary in terms of how much I'm putting down, how much you're putting down. Now the money are not getting enough. I asked her one thing. I said, okay, when I was still earning this amount of money, are you not surviving? Say yes.
Mm.
There are certain people that are not earning this amount of money. So what you are earning right now, if you are really earning, there are some people that are not earning to that amount. Every time I look at
True.
myself, I said, Victor,
Mm.
how are people earning on 20? I know people that are still earning 30,000 naira per month now, and they are
Mm.
living. They will see where their
True.
suits. So if they can learn earn as more as that and they can live almost conveniently, of course, it cannot be convenient in this current country that we're in. But at least
Mm-hmm.
if they could live their life at that spot, if I'm living at this spot, then I should not be feeling I can't save. So what can help us is that just put a percentage around your amount of money. Every time you earn, remove that amount of money straight. Before I started being cultured with this percentage and this tracker, usually when I get money like that, I don't care how much expenses I have for the month. I can just carry this big figure, put it in savings. One. Why?
Mm.
Because I don't want to expose myself to people coming to DMs saying I need this, I need that, I need this, and emotions will push me to send the money. To empty 1 million is just in 2 days under people's expenses. I tell you.
True. True.
You get my point. So one
Yeah.
income, 20 20 hours flows. So have that culture that when money comes to your account, deal with your savings first. And how will you deal with your savings? Put it in places whereby you can't access. Let me give you examples of places you can't access. Put it in Cowrywise and PiggyVest.
Mm.
Cowrywise or PiggyVest. That if you look, there's no amount. If you tell them you are sick, they won't release your money. It's until the time you are asking them that they will release your money to you. I'm telling you the real truth.
True. True. That's true.
Ask them that your mother is sick. I will die now, 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 now. They will release it. I'm serious.
Oh
Before
my
it's long
goodness.
ago that you can appeal and they will answer you 24 hours. The piggy vest of now
True.
they will hear you. So that helped
Mm.
me such that impulse expenditure does not
Spending.
come at me. Impulse spending
Mm.
does not come at me. You understand? Now we'll still come, I believe maybe later on we can talk about investment. But Rice Invest also helped me. Now I removed some portions of money. So I put money in PiggyVest, Cowrywise, I put money in cryptocurrency, low flexible cryptocurrency. Outside that, I put money there. And then I put money in Rice Invest, RISE. My friend introduced that to me long ago. Started that this year. I put my money there. I invest into companies, stocks that are outside the country. If you invest in PiggyVest, maybe it may be in Nigerian value, except you are investing in Nigerian. I think they also have a dollars portfolio. Whereas investments almost have little or no risk. It's almost done deal that you surely have an appreciable ROI at the end of the day. So I put my
Mm.
money there. So it can't be by impulse that I will be telling them that hello, come and bring me my money. So these are the structures that could really help your savings. And
Mm.
read this book, The Act of Not Giving a Fuck. That helped me in reducing emotions outside myself, outside spending, and then the act of saying no. That's the second book I read. that helped me. The act of not giving a fuck, the act of saying no. Those two books helped me a lot. So the art of saying no helps you to be able to say no to things that are not going to help me.
Mm.
Either by doing things that will not help me when people make demands on it. Like I'm doing a work that can bring a lot of money, and you're inviting me to do a work for you that can wait, that somebody else can do. I will say a no without feeling guilty. I used to be a people
Mm.
pleaser. I go into terrible things. You can feel like I'm a bad person right now, but you may not understand how I've ever lived my life before. So I don't care if I'm learning 10,000 naira. So far, somebody's earning 100K, I'm okay. But whereas when
Mm.
I'm in need, I go to that same person, this person can no longer help me. So
Mm.
read these two books will really help you to shape your mind to not being emotional and helping when the help is really needed. You understand my points now? So
Mm.
these are the things that will really help you. Read books that can help your mind. Remove savings before you even talk about expenditure. Have a tracker. Like you said, every time I send money, I put in my what's it called, reference. I don't just send money. If I send money, I give you
Mm.
money. Feel bad that I put a reference there. I'll write support
True.
so that
Mm.
anytime I'm coming back to check and transact, I know that hello,
You know what
how
this
much
money
has
is for?
gone out of you. Get my points now. So,
Yeah.
like you said, if you look at your accounts, every time there was a month like that, let me mention the figure. I was like, I've not made money, and I check how much I've spent that month. I saw that my cash flow was ranging about 5 million or so for that month. I
Mm.
was like, serious, Victor. And I was broke at the end of the month. I don't have any money. I was like,
Mm.
5 million, how far? And I had
Mm.
this kind of transaction flow. This amount of money came to my account. Ogba account to me, Koja. How it went out,
Mm.
I don't know. So these are the things that could really help you track it. By the time you begin to see what is engulfing your money, you know that you need to begin to cut those things. Subscription, you're subscribing to Netflix, subscribing to all of these things. Pick one.
Mm.
If you know that you can't do without movies, like me,
Mm.
I do without movies these days. The only thing that takes my time is YouTube Shorts. I can't lie to you. Well, I don't have Netflix subscription. I don't have any subscription because of what I know where I'm going to. So let me stop there because of time. So I don't know
Right,
if you
right.
that settles
Thank
that.
Yeah, that's really settles it. Thank you so much, Victor. I mean, wow, this is massive. I mean, I can see Alpha Goodness said, call my name. So Victor, I guess you need to call Alpha Goodness name so that she can go and create us. Right. I want to appreciate everyone that has joined. Thank you so much. You can tell us your name and where you are watching from. Or what's the name of the book, please? All
Yeah, that's
right.
richest man
I
in
get
Babylon. It's been
so
answered.
richest man in Babylon, right? Which other book again do we have now? You mentioned
We have
quite a number of the act of saying no,
the art of saying
right?
no and the art of not
Mm-hmm.
giving a fuck.
Right. So I will leave the comment. I will leave after the show. I'm going to leave a chat on the names of the books. You can get it on the different
Yeah,
platforms, maybe on Amazon
I can
or
send
the
you the
likes. You can.
PDFs. I can send you the
Right.
PDFs. You like PDFs, so you could work around that.
Okay. So this is what I will ask everybody to do. Try as much as possible to. There is a registration link, right, are available to anywhere you see this thing. There's a registration link. So everyone that has registered, I will get the PDF from our guest today, and I'm going to send it across to everyone that has registered via your mail. All right. So get this book. There is no making money without knowledge. All right. When they said knowledge is someone said knowledge is power, right? So knowledge is money. So thank you so much, Victor. And yeah, let's go straight to investment. I remember a year ago. I mean, it was just in pieces. It wasn't like a a direct acts of investing. All right. It was in 2020. I was still in service then. So, I mean, they are just talking about crypto, Luno. The app I use is Luno. Yeah, crypto. I bought small Bitcoin, 1,000 or 2,000 Bitcoin. I bought Ethereum. I bought, what's it called? Ripple. All right. I bought, in fact, I bought about seven, eight, nine, just like the Bible said, spread your bread upon many waters, right? So I just scattered the funds like that. I was just thinking about the trend of money. I was listening to Pastor Lumide Emmanuel, and it was talking about the trend of money and the likes. And I was looking at how this investment is, and I went to go and check my portfolio. Despite I did not invest, I'm not sure my deposit to the crypto account was about maybe 5,000 naira altogether. The everything I bought, and by the time it's showing the evaluation, it said my wallet has increased over 1,000%,
Wow.
right? Over 1,000% from
Wow.
2020, right, to to right. And when I wanted to get my phone, I took part of the money there. I joined it to it. You understand what I'm saying? So I want
But
you to
that
really
that's
talk
that's
about.
that's that's not wise. That's not wise.
Yeah, I know that's true. That's true because I should leave it to the for a lot. Because you see, another thing that I did was there's another app you mentioned about Rice Invest. I also use what's it called, Bamboo. I bought shares with
Okay.
Apple. I bought shares with Google. I bought, by the time I saw the investment again today, I said, come on, this thing is really working, right? So I want you to really talk to us about investments. Just let's make it, briefly. I mean, we've already been using over an hour now, but briefly talk to us about investments, exploring how do people explore different options, and especially in this part of the world. Because I follow a man, Ramsey Show, and when you get outside the country, there are wealth is more or less programmed. If you do this, you can be sure, and you save, you do this, you can be sure that your retirement is settled, right? But in the country we are in, there is so much, jamara kind of thing. So, but how can you introduce us to investment?
Okay.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, investment is very important. Having let me say this: there are three key things you need to understand when it comes to wealth creation. There is creation of wealth, there is management of wealth, and there is sustainability and transference of wealth. Creation, management, transference. If any of the three key things are missing, you will still become poor, either now or later. If it doesn't happen in your generation, if next generation is not careful, it will happen then. If any of them is missing, creation of wealth is you servicing, running business, having a salary job, you are trying to get money. Those are sources of income. Second aspect of understanding you need to have is management of wealth. And that talks about this budgeting we're talking about, tracking, investment. Sustainability of wealth is how do you want to make this wealth you're building last longer, even than your years of your living, meaning beyond your own lifetime. And that's really the big picture. Many people are rich in this world, but many people has not been able to transfer wealth to their coming generation. I have a wonderful
Mm,
friend. He called. He said, "I want my picture to be in my family house." And people should look at my picture that this man transformed the shape of finances in the whole family. That could be your shaping figure. My
mm,
own drive is such that I want to make a lot of people smile at the end of the day. I want to create wealth at the end of the day. I want to help a lot of people. I don't want to just stay at me helping 10 people. My dream is such that I want to help more than 1 million people out of poverty. And I started that with just a little milestone. So you can't start even talking about this if you don't know how to create wealth, how to sustain wealth, and how to transfer wealth. So looking at investing, there are a few metrics you need to look into when you are thinking of investment. There are a few metrics. Number one, ask yourself, what is the level of risk of this investment? There are low tolerance risk, there are medium risk, there are high risk. Usually, high risk gives the highest return. Low risk gives the minimal return. That's the normal, usual thing. Are you getting my point now? So ask yourself,
mm,
whatever I want to put in high risk investment should be the money I'm ready to forgo. Why? Because I've seen people, especially in the cryptocurrency space, in which I'm just getting involved myself into getting involved with. There are many people that have gone bankrupt after becoming millions of dollars worth. They've
mm.
gone to a signing bankruptcy. That's how terrible you can go into into pauperhood when you're into cryptocurrency space because it's highly volatile. It's so risky. but it's the best of the best when you talk about increasing your income. Look at what you said, 1,000% in 4 years. You can't see that. So
mm,
that is high risk with high return. Low risk and low return. What can you think about? You can think about landed properties. You can begin to
mm,
save. See, don't despise small beginning, and don't despise small assets or small incomes that you're making, small savings.
mm,
Don't despise them. What do I mean? If you're saving, somebody said something, let me just give that example and I'll move on. A married couple says something, they are saving for their children. Their pastor advised them, save 1,000 every day. For me, there's a certain amount of money that if I lose every day, I can't feel it. So as you're there on the comments, just put on the comment section how much can you lose without shaking body. Just type in. I
mm.
can type in my own. I can lose 5,000 naira and I will not feel it. So don't come and ask for 5,000. I won't give you. It's very sure. So because I said it. So, but that's the honest truth. If I lose
Mm,
5,000 naira now, I won't feel it. So if you save that amount every day, 5,000 naira over a
mm,
year by 365, that's how much that you're
mm,
counting a million. If you now
mm.
invest that 1 million into what can give you a low risk of 10% annually over 35 years, I did the calculation. By the time we did the calculation, everybody was shouting. I'm serious. That platform, everybody was shouting like seriously because we already a billions of naira, a billions of naira in figures. In dollars, you are a
Mm,
millionaire in figures. Are you getting my
mm.
point? So that's your small money. It's called law of compound interest. Law of
Yeah.
compound interest. So what you're putting in small value over time with small interest coming over it, you are compounding your interest over space of time. That's number one. Check the level of risk. Number two, you can also look into is what's the ROI at the end of the day? What's the interest that this thing is going to give you? There's some business that you do that will not give you interest until 10 years time. The business that you
Mm,
do, 4 or 5 years, they'll give you your interest. The some that you do in 4 months,
mm,
they'll give you your interest. I spoke about something to someone someday. I said there are some stocks you can invest into that it's just only going to give you return profitably in months. If you invest in those stocks for years, you will run into loss. Why?
mm.
So the problem those guys are solving is just temporal. And that will move me to my
Yeah.
third point. Whatever company you want to invest into, whatever assets you want to invest into, must solve a problem. Land will solve a problem. The problem
Mm.
of somebody someday who is looking to build a house. Investing in Amazon, those Amazon companies are solving e-commerce problem. And so they
Yeah.
cannot run at loss. So you expect always an annual increment of returns.
Mm,
If you invest in Facebook, you always see social media. If you invest in oil industry, the world will keep on be in need of oil. But
mm.
if it's in 100 years, maybe we might run into loss by that time. So do you get what I'm trying to say? But they are
Yeah,
viable for a
that's true.
particular period. So there are some that till you die, they will keep on bringing money to you. And that's part of the key thing that Warren Buffett said, that if you don't know how to make money while you are sleeping, you are still poor. So investments will help you such that you are still making money while you're sleeping. Because I told myself I want to retire early. Do you get the picture now? The third thing I
Yeah.
think you could really kind of pen down is apart, I spoke about ROI, I spoke about the risk that is involved, knowledge. You must know the company you are investing in very well. In cryptocurrency, they
Mm,
call them white papers. So before I
mm,
invest even into cryptocurrency, I must study what is the white paper, what problem is this guy solving, what is the narratives around it. So you need to before if anybody comes to me and tell me come and invest in my business, it's not even business that I invest. There are a lot of persons that come to meet me, invest in my business,
mm,
but I can't because when I look at you, you don't have a financial business plan. Your return in a year time, I see that it's not even going to be profitable. So I won't invest. So why? I researched into that space. What's company? What's the industry? So you need knowledge. You need to know about the risk involved. You need to know about the problem that that company is solving before you can put your money into it. And those apps, like you said, Bamboo, you made. I have to pen that down right now. I mean, Rice
mm.
Invest. You can invest into dollars
Yeah.
portfolio. I mean, those are not running on
Mm.
Nigerian currency. Forget it, Nigerian value. It is well. I don't want to bastardize Nigerian currency over the call, but that's the truth.
Before EFCC
That's
come
the
and
truth.
arrest you.
Before ESC come and arrest this for me, I beg. So that's just the truth.
Right.
That is what it is. And let me say briefly, you can also think of real estate for a start in Nigeria. You can There's some properties while starting that I bought an acre for 300K. There are some 450K. They are still available till now. You understand? Whereas you're feeling this thing, there's a property I bought at a particular time for about 700x. At that time, before the end of the year, it was already like 1,500x. You understand? Just in 3 or 4 months. So that's still Nigerian real estate. But when you compare Nigerian real estate to global real estate, you can't compare. You are running at loss. Somebody sold the property for, I mean, bought the property 100 million naira, maybe 2021. When he was selling it now, he sold it for 150 million. You think this guy is making money? Yes or no? No. The answer is no. Because he's living in Portugal right now. The exchange rate at that time will give maybe about $3,000 thereabout. I don't know what the figure will be. But when you convert that amount of money or 150 billion to foreign currency dollars now, you see that you are even selling lesser than what you even bought. Can you see the margin? So think of real estate, but you can start with local because as I don't even have money to buy land in US or UK. So let me start with little thing. Those are buying stocks of 5,000,
Sure.
10,000, buying $10, keeping it. I left a $2 as residue in a particular wallet long ago. I checked back, it's now $5. In Nigerian context now, it's
Mm,
about maybe 7,000 naira. From at that time, maybe
mm,
2,000 or 1,000 then. Can you see? So think
mm.
of what you can do, think of where you can put your money. Low risk, depending on what you want to think about. High risk, the money that you can forget. And you can see yourself growing in your investment portfolio like that. So it's quite enormous, quite enormous.
Right.
Yeah.
Victor, thank you so much. I'm really excited, and I believe everybody watching tonight are also excited. One thing I can see consistently on the comment is please the spreadsheet, the templates are. So definitely we would, if you register, right, if
Yeah,
you
you will get
register
it.
for this, you will definitely get it via your email, right? So check out
Yeah.
whether on this on Facebook, you can go to Facebook on my profile page on Facebook, you'll see the registration link there. Just register. I would I would just wait till tomorrow, right? I will get it hopefully maybe tonight, but by tomorrow evening you should get a mail from Life Clinic Podcast on this particular template. Victor, we need to start tidying up. I'm not sure we'll be able to finish our list of conversations tonight, but I think one important thing that I would not go without talking about is on financial goals or financial goal setting.
Okay.
So, how can young people set realistic goals and stay motivated to achieving them? Right? I know there was a time where saying I will make a 1 million naira is like a dream, right? Now you are talking about a flow in your account of over 5 million naira. I mean, and that was, sometimes ago. So, how can we set a realistic goal from one level to another and be stay motivated to achieve them?
Okay. I was in a community of people that really helped me in this, and I will talk about it. And that community is such that every month we submit our goal for the month. This was talking about all of my past 4 years. That was what I was doing. So every month we had how much I want to make for this month. Realistic goal. So everybody knows about SMART. So now I will set a realistic goal. What do I mean? How much do I want to make? Like recently, I was checking myself on Sunday, last week Sunday, and I was asking myself if I'm working hazardously, hourly rating now, and I work for about averagely 8 hours every day, how much can I make? I saw the figure and I was like, no, this is too small. This cannot lead me to my lifestyle that I want to live. So how do I do that? I said, okay, well, number two things I need to do. I need to increase my source of income. Number one, that's my streams of income. Number two, I need to charge more than I'm charging right now. I need to charge more than I'm charging right now. So that helps me to increase my hourly rating by a $10 increase, which I already did. And then also, I was already thinking about what are the other things I can do, and some ideas are already dropping. So How can you stay put to a financial goal? Number one is set a goal that is realistic. So for you, depending on what you are making right now, so and I used to say that set something that is more than you, but it is achievable. More than you in what sense? More than your current state. So if what I can ever make in a month is 100,000 naira, set 200,000 naira. 200,000 naira is realistic if you do more than what you are doing now.
mm,
So then when I was analyzing that, because if I set based on what I can do right now, I'll just set at my exact figure what I'm making right now as my goal for next month. So for this coming month, I set a realistic goal, which is more than what I'm making now, what I can ever make now. I don't know if you understand. Like what I've ever made on monthly
mm,
basis. I set that amount. Now, number two thing, I have accountability partners. So I will say that look for people who are already where you are going. So I have friends that they are where I'm going. One day I was checking, I mean, recently I was checking the profile of one of my leader, and I was checking his the average earnings of what he had made in a whole month. I mean, in about maybe 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. Last year, we're talking about, okay, let's say going to 1 year now, 6 months to 1 year. So that this guy has almost made much more than what I've ever made in many months to years altogether, close to about 3 years now. And this guy made this amount of money in just about 6 months to 1 month. I get my point now. So that's
mhm,
because this person is also a family man. So there's no contest I want to place myself that will look
mm,
like this person is doing much or I am doing much more than this person that could compensate for it. He's going to church, I'm going to church. He has a wife. In fact, he has kids. I don't have kids. Are you getting my point? So look for
yeah.
somebody that is like where you are going to. Number one, look for somebody that is going where you are going to. That's
Mm,
B part of number two. So beyond just having somebody there, there should be somebody that is close to you that's also passionate. Look for that your friend. Ask about 10 of your close friends. If there's no friend of you that's passionate, change your circle of friends. Nobody can they can't motivate
mm,
you. I've had to
mm,
switch, reshuffle my friends on many bases. Why? Because I feel you can't help me. So you can keep me
mm.
at the spot. I see your friend. I have stages of friendship. I have the outer court. I have the inner court. I have the holies of holies. So, so I have those
Right.
dimensions. I'm a
Mm,
friend to many people, even to smokers, because I want to reach out to them to evangelize and all that. So I'm friends to everybody. But I have people that I place that these people are in a position to help me, but I'm not
mm,
living a parasitic life. I'm not telling them,
mm,
come sending me money. I'm not always asking them questions. I have a value to also give to them. So have people that
mm,
are going where you are going, that you guys can be on a competitive sport. When I mean competitive, I'm talking about positive competition. It's not, hey, this guy is making money. What can let me do things that will disfavor him. No, this guy is making much more. Let me run after him. Let me put my amount in figures. I don't talk much in naira. I believe that God should help me. I've been making money. So God, the way Oga John is looking like me, let me be there. So let's say I'm targeting $10,000 every month, and currently I'm just in $1,000. To put that in figures, I must look for a friend who is also making $800, $2,000 within that range, and is also setting that same figure. So the challenges is facing, I'm facing it. So I won't have an excuse. Are you
mm.
getting my point? So the
Right.
things he's talking about, I'm also talking about it. So when this guy could make 4,000 naira, $4,000 in a month, and I make $2,000, something tells me that Victor, I think maybe you are watching too much movies, maybe you are not serious with the work, maybe you are spending more time
Mm,
on social media, maybe you are not facing the right client. The things that have helped me so far so good in my business world was to learn something, and this is its simple principle. I'll prefer to serve three people that will pay me $100
mm,
each than to serve 100 people that will pay me $10 each.
mm,
Both will still give me $1,000, but
mm,
one will kill me. By the end of the month, I will be spending 100,000 on health.
mm,
Because you will have to struggle. So that do you see why you need to increase your financial intelligence to begin to
mm,
research who are the people that can pay you with the amount you're talking about. So when you're budgeting this amount, then I begin to think about, so I think I need to work with agencies that are having 500 employees. So if you are working
Mm,
anything lower, I'm ready to say no. So that's one of the things you must be ready to do. Say no to people that will waste your time. There are clients that I've said no to because they will waste my time.
mm,
I'm serious. So I learned this from Chris Do. You can watch him on YouTube. He said, when you are starting, if you have spent more than 1 year, you are no longer starting. When you are starting, you're ready to say a lot of yeses and few no, because you are looking for the niche. Who are you to serve? Where are you to
mm,
specialize? And all of that.
mm,
But as you grow, be ready to say a lot of no and few yes.
mm.
Because I tell you, one client can pay you what 20 clients can pay you.
True,
So it's part of your financial
true.
intelligence that will help you. So in this, if
Mm,
you begin to put all of these metrics together and you have discipline at the end of the day. So at that time, I tell myself that if I don't make this amount of money, then there's this punishment. What is the punishment? I'll sleep in night class. I'll have night class all through. I'll be sleeping on my chair. So usually this year I've done a lot of favor. I can adjust it and sleep. Now, sometimes my wife, sometimes my wife complains. Maybe I'm now more serious, such that I'm reducing my working hours to just work 8 hours per day. So it's part of the things I'm using other metrics to solve my working hours. So
mm,
intelligence. So I'm making productive time of the small hours I'm working, rather than using 24 hours around the clock of just working, sleeping and working, and you're still making a penny. Financial intelligence.
mm,
So I put myself on discipline. If I don't make this amount of money in this month, that means for this coming month, for the next 2 weeks, either I leave my house and start going to a workspace. I'll not be sleeping at home. Where insects will bite
mm,
me and all of that. Discipline. Either
mm,
that every day I have to trek this milestone. So as I'm trekking, I am thinking that it's because I didn't make as much as possible. I did that and it's worked for me. You may think it's a faboo, but I tell you, try it. The time when I saw that I'm not making so much money, I told myself I need to start going to co-working space. So I paid almost 45,000 naira to one, and the other one was 25,000 naira separately. Why? I wanted to discipline myself to have that salary mentality going to 9 to 5. So
mm,
every time I go to work, I am focused. I'm not chatting. I'm not responding to chat. So that thing helped me because I want to solve a problem of money that I'm not meeting my goal. So put yourself on
mm.
disciplines. Now I'm now able to structure myself to say that okay, I can work without being distracted. So put yourself on disciplines that can put you to achieve your financial goals. Set a target, have people that can help you, have a mentor that you can report to, and also put yourself on disciplines in case you fail for previous month. So those are things that you can look into that will really help.
Right, right. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Victor. I mean, this particular session is so loaded, loaded. And I'm really, really happy that, a lot of people from the comments box are really excited to, with this conversation we are having. Thank you so much, Victor, for showing up. What I will just do now, Victor, is unfortunately I can't further with my questions because I have some questions already from the registration. Some people, when they registered, they already we had a session there for them to ask questions, and there are some questions there so that you will be able to answer the questions. And I have some questions here on the comment chat so that we will be able to do everything hopefully before 1:30. I said 1:30. Before 8:30,
That's
right?
you.
So
You are thinking global. That's US time.
right, okay. Okay, so the first question I have here, Victor, is how do I overcome impulsive spending? How do I overcome impulsive spending or impulsive buying? That's how he actually put his question. How do I overcome impulsive buying? Maybe should I ask all the questions together? There are
Okay,
three questions here.
maybe three at a time.
Yeah, in fact, there are three questions here, so I can go to the comments chat for the next one. So the second question says, is there a permanent strategy for financial growth? Is there a permanent strategy for financial growth? And this last one here says financial blueprints that lead to billions, that lead to billionaire in dollars. Right? So financial blueprints that lead to billionaire in dollars. All right. So if you could take that question, then I will just look at some questions from the comments. Then we can just call it a day. Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much once again. Over to you, sir.
All right. Okay, so I think number two, I can match number two and three together. One is don't even have accessible accounts. If you want to overcome this, number one, you can go and break all your ATMs and break all your transfers. You will suffer, you will trek, but over a time, your mindset kills the impulse purchase. Number one, break your ATM. The things that can lead you to quickly doing withdrawal, break them. By the time you do that, you know that at the end of the day, whatever you are going out for are the things you are budgeting for. Number two,
Number two,
what you could also do is that I think there's an echo somewhere.
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So apart from that drastic action of breaking your ATMs, one of my friends did something. He had an account that he didn't have ATM to it. He can't even do transfer. He can only enter the bank. See, if you don't
Mm,
get crazy to that level, sorry to use that word, you won't be able to experience this freedom you're talking about because human beings
mm,
as a whole we like conveniency. So you
mm,
need that determination, that drastic action, that punishment to yourself for you to learn it. So like I said, I had to go almost miles to a co-working space because I want to conquer an attribute, a bad habit in me of chatting while working. So I will see myself working 20 hours, whereas I'm only having productivity hours of just 8 hours. So you need
mm,
that drastic action. Number two is that you sort out your savings first. Sort out all your savings. You can sort out your savings and also have a tracker that speculates an amount of what you can do, the things you are allotting money for. So for me, I have an amount that is going to food. So every
mm,
time I don't think of buying things impulsively, I have an account for maybe I want to just jaye on a low key, maybe go to mall to buy small thing. I have that account for it. I can like I already showed you on the sheet. There's a sheet that addresses miscellaneous and all of that. So Timothy no yeton, say go be, hands up. So
true.
at the end of the day, I usually see that over time, that attribute of buying things impulsively gets cut off. And I restrict myself that anything that I want to buy, I must have budgeted for it in the previous month. So if it's not in my tracker, it has to wait till the next month. Because where
Mm,
I'm even on self, the community I'm on, if you spend much more, so you cannot be mentor. Tell the person if I spend much more than I'm allotting for myself, give me a fine. So in that
mm,
group, if you are spending much more than that 70% that I allotted to myself, I'm going to get a fine, either 20,000 naira.
mm,
Are you getting my points now? So
mm,
have a discipline, a mentor that can discipline your self-discipline that can help you. Have a tracker that tells you these are the things you can buy. Anything that is going out of this must come to the coming months. Avoid over merciful mentality, like I said earlier on. Everybody else shall die mentality. I want to help everybody in the whole world. You can't
mm,
satisfy everybody. So you need to kill that culture of African settings that you want to satisfy everybody. So if you kill that, you can't just begin to dabble into things. Know when to say no, know when to say yes to yourself and to people around. So those are the things that can help you drastic action to yourself. They will help you cut it short. Number two thing, permanent
mm,
strategies. I think I already said this. If you impute all of these things I've said, if you've been listening since the morning, I don't want to dwell too much. You will have been able to pick about five things. They are principles. Matthew Ashimolowo said something, I think in the 30 laws of West creation, that the earth is governed by principles, that even
mm,
the unbelievers can dabble into wealth. And it's so unfortunate that even the billionaires of the world are not believers. So it's not just
mm,
about Christians or no Christians or Muslims or no Muslims or whatever or religion you're in. It's about fulfilling a law, following a principle. So there is a set principle of saving. The Bible spoke about the hands. It saves for the time of hunger. The principle of bread and the eater. God gives the bread to the eater and seed to the sower. Everything that God gives you now, He expects that you should save
mm,
and expect that you should eat from it right now. So,
mm,
principle, there are a lot of principle of compound interest, removing money daily, principle of mentorship, principle of reading books. You can see I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight plus about two, 10 books currently that talks about money alone. I have another set
mm,
talking about leadership. I have another set talking about relationship. So you need to know more, learn. So those are the duplicatable processes that can help you. Read books. We recommended a lot of books for you. So and many more like that, not to waste too much of our time. So if you could follow some of these things, investment, I can tell you your wealth process can be guaranteed. Even if you run bankruptcy, a wealthy man can recreate wealth again because his wealth is not in cash in bank. His wealth is not cash at hand. His wealth is a mindset that will
mm,
structure you never to go broke. Yeah,
mm,
is the value you attract. As I am now, God forbid, I can't. There is a threshold of how less I can go if I don't sin against God. Though, if God is not angry at
mm,
me, I can't go to zero balance under God because why? There are a lot of values that are created around me that will surely give me money.
mm,
In one service alone, there are things that I've done over just one service that no matter what on this particular spot of service, somebody must remember me one day that let me go and meet Victor. Out of 100 clients I have worked with, one of them should remember him that Victor, you need to help me. Also on one
mm,
service. Now building 10, 5 multi-streams. One will surely keep you at the state whereby you never be poor. So that's the backing word for that particular statement in which you heard me say is under God, outside me doing apart from the spiritual
nothing.
sentiment in which I have, apart from that, laws keeps you in motion or financial freedom.
Mm,
I don't know if there's any
mm.
question on the comment section.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited that we are really having this. Thank you so much once again. And I am blessed. I guess the person is asking about whether there is a digital marketing paid class. That's what the person is asking.
Okay. Well, for now, I am running a mentorship. One of the ways of giving back that I thought about was to give back in the area of mentorship because I saw that everybody that you're on this call that you'll still watch later, maybe on YouTube, I tell you there's a value in which you already have that the world can learn from. There's something you have learned in the past 10 years that they can learn from, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm putting myself out to help people. I don't feel that it's not because you don't have to wait till you are making these figures of money. I've been doing this since far back. So I have a few groups. Now I'm just working with about 10 people, and I feel the access, if not shut down, almost shut down. Maybe just one person is left to be filled up. So I'll give this chance to my wonderful hosts. If you can message the host, the first one that can message the host, you have access to that mentorship for free. Maybe later times, when it needs to become more stringent, there needs to be a price tag attached. But there's a high level of discipline. If there's no attendance on meetings, if there's no response on the group, I remove you. So because you're not paying for it, even at the time when you begin to pay, I will still have that level of discipline. So I have that small cohort, 10 people I'm managing for now because I begin to interfere with everything you're doing in your life, exact things that is leading to the issues, training you on skills because I don't train, but I do mentorship. I guide you. These are the things that could help you. So I don't have the time to be training for now. So mentorship, these are the things that can guide you. So I can be able to do that. So if you are in that shoes, send your name, your phone number to the host. So I'm giving my host one access.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Gracias. Merci beaucoup. So whoever that person is, um, just message me via Facebook, right? Just check around, or if you are watching on YouTube, you should be able to see a link to my Facebook. My Facebook is Iggy God, right? You see my face there. I put my face on my Facebook page,
Fresh piece.
right? All right. So, but once again, Victor, thank you so much. I'm really, really excited we're having this. And I am so much more excited about the turnout that we have today. Thank you so much, Victor. And I am really
My
happy.
pleasure.
I don't know what more to say. Right. So, but what I want to say now is I mentioned that There are about three questions I asked all my guests. I just want to be sure that people are still viewing. They should be, but I don't know. I guess this guy is not really connecting. Well, let me reload. Right. And the first question is just briefly. I don't know how many minutes we've used. I don't know if I can see it from here. All right. Briefly,
It's
if you
1 hour
have,
30 minutes.
you say what?
1 hour 30 minutes, thereabout.
Right. So if you have the opportunity to meet your 7-year-old self, what would you tell him? If you had the opportunity to meet your 7-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Okay, what I would tell my 7 year old self is that pursue independence as fast as possible outside dependency mentality of parents or the rich man in your family. That was one of the things that affected me, but thank God I didn't have to wait so long to learn that. Number two, one thing I would tell my 7 year old self is go after value that you can create, go after problems that you can solve. Money revolves around problem solving. So if you
Mm,
can solve a problem, you'll make much more money. If I was solving problems that I'm solving now, at that time, I think by now I should be billions of naira worth. So I'll tell my 7 year old self to create more value. If I won't tell my 7 year old self, I'll tell my 7 year old self to also read books. So reading books was
mm.
one of the things I struggled with, and I feel many Africans are struggling with it as well.
True, true.
I see that every time I read, there's a level of vastness I work in. There's a level of creativity. I My creativity is on the peak when I read books. I don't know. I'm not sure it's special to me, but I believe it's for everybody. My thinking
Mm,
faculties at its peak. Every time I sit down to meditate, ideas comes. So
mm,
those ideas supposed to have been things that should have been invest. I should have invested my money and my time into long ago, but I'm just doing them now. Number four thing I'll tell my 7 year old self is don't be a people pleaser. Don't be a people pleaser. It won't get you anywhere. And the last thing
mm,
I'll say, maybe I'll emphasize it a bit, is that don't get into debt. Don't
mm.
get into debt. I have been into debt at certain times that I was almost committing suicide. 2020 was that year. Mr. John will remember Forex trading.
Yeah.
I was almost dying in 2020. I'm not casualing you. On a Sunday, I could not go to church. Depression. My heart was beating fast to the extent that if somebody shoots a gun at the neighborhood, I would die of a shock because I collected
Mm.
money. I was standing as investor Victor.
Middleman.
So
Right.
that got me into some debts. Thank God that God still helped me in that I did some calculated debts, or else Mr. John could have sent me to prison too. So,
Right.
avoiding debts could really help you to think better. And debts, there are two kinds of debts. There are debts that are debt into assets, there are debt that are into liability. The things that will
Mm,
make you go into buying Gucci bags, buying this and that. I'm still using a phone I've been using since the past 2 years. And I'm not bothered that people are looking down. They can't say it's because I don't look like somebody that is poor actually. So they can't say it, but I don't bother myself about what they are thinking because a time will come that just the interest in my money can pay for that thing that they are looking for, that they
mm,
are buying, that they are spending their money. I see many use using iPhone 15 now. They borrow money, some they do all sort of illicit things. But what I'll tell my 7 year old self is that, boy, don't get into debts. Debts has crippled how I could be creative. I was always depressive and all of that. So that could not help me to think far and wide, to see far. I have to start bringing myself to Victor, as a few years ago, when you are serious with your life, you are thinking of how you can become billionaires, how you can be consulting to US government, how you can be doing this and that. Why have you so much big yourself solo that you're now thinking of cash out my dupe, or let me just see this amount of money and I'll be okay. So that's what debts
mm,
can do to you. It will reduce
mm,
how far you can think. You can reduce your mentality, and if your mentality is reduced, you can't go beyond that amount. And let me end on this note that you can't go beyond your level of knowledge. If you get a million naira now, You spend that 1 million naira to that same exact amount of level of mindset in which you're in. Typical example, I was an IT student. I was hungry that day, zero balance, everything zero, zero balance. That same day, I got money that was up to 25,000 naira. Before that same day, and before that day ends, I was reduced to 5,000 naira. That was the normal amount that my brain can carry. That this amount though is in my account. If it's 100,000 in my account, now I'll be shaking 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. You get my point now. So that's why you need to seek for knowledge, seek
mm,
move with people that there's some figures that they don't even talk about. There are people that they are
yeah.
buying their asset can pay 100 millions of naira. So when you hear those figures, it
Mm,
puts you on your deck that Bobo, you that you're talking about 10,000
brace
naira,
up.
you're not making anything. So that's just
Mm.
it to really help you.
Right.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you so much, Victor. The second question I will ask is briefly, can you just give us three books that you recommend to people that are viewing us that can help them? Three top. Of course, there are several financial books that are out there, very quality ones. But if you could just give us top three that you recommend to people to get immediately.
Okay, maybe for business owners, I would recommend by a guy called Unamdi Ezegbo. I'm not sure the slot way. That's the person that created slot. So he speak about how you can start your journey as an entrepreneur, like how you can start your journey as an entrepreneur. So don't forget the slot way. So if you're still doubting, okay, I'm a salary earner, how can I start a business? The slot way will help you. Second book that will help you in finances is the book by this great man. Uh, what's his name now? Money will not make you rich. God's principle will. That I've forgotten
Sunday
his name.
Adelaja.
Yeah, Sunday Adelaja.
Sunday
That book
Adelaja.
tremendously helped my life. It helped my saving culture. I also recommended it. It was so practical. I could read it between lines into those things. So that's Sunday Adelaja. Money will not make you rich. God's principle will make you rich. And the last book I want to recommend as part of the book that has really helped me in this financial way, like I said, the book I recommended earlier, The Art of Saying No. So I want to recommend those three books to really help you. And that's just it. There are so many other books like the 30 Laws of Wealth Creation by what's his name? Dr. Matthew Ashimolo. That's is also a pastor as well. So there are a lot of books that you can spend your hands on, but those 3 to 4 books that I mentioned drastically shaped my mentality regarding finances, and I was much more managerial and much more into multiplying my wealth than just sitting down making money and living from penny to penny.
Right. Thank you so much, Victor. And the last question, just briefly, would be that if there was anybody dead or alive that you would love to speak with, whether dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you tell that person? Anybody that you love to speak with, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you tell or ask that person?
Well, there are a lot of persons that are really looking forward to meet with.
Just give
That's
us
the honest
one.
truth.
You have a blank, one single slot.
Will you help me to connect with the person? I will be very grateful.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows who will listen to this now? Who knows who will listen to this?
So, well, the foremost person is Dr. Cosmas Maduka. Is the owner of Coscharis Group. Is the person that I really want to follow. And well, thank God for this video because I want to play back this video in the next 5 years because I will have seen the man. I can because
Hmm.
I'm doing things that is getting me closer. So I'm happy about it. So Dr. Cosmas Maduka was one of the person that the story really helped me a lot to believing that anything can be possible. He left from being a primary school graduate to becoming a millionaire in dollars. Forbes list,
Hmm.
not just Nigerian world ranking. And till date, is still relevant. He's a Christian. He goes out for evangelism. So he's both. I love him so much. And what question will I ask him? The simple question I want to ask him is about his process and his approach to business, his approach to business. There's something that I'm learning from Igbo people. I'm learning from him from afar. So I'm answering the questions already. But I really want to ask him, how did you approach business? I learned something from the Igbo people of how they run their business that is helping them to excel so well. So I want to
Mm.
learn more about that. So that's the key question I want to ask him. How do you transfer that your apprenticeship system into creation of wealth that is standing in the world right now?
Wow. Thank you so much, Victor. Once again, brethren, people, viewers, participants, this is Victor Idowu, the CEO and the lead principal designer. You know why I'm stopping, Abby? I'm checking, is it Vicent? Is it Vicent? Am I correct?
Vicent, Vicent. It was denoted from
Vicent.
Victor International, Victor International, VIC International.
Haha, Vicent,
So don't
Victor
worry,
International, right?
you start hearing it on advertisements much more online, NTA,
Good.
TVC,
Right.
BBC, and all of them.
So that we can
So
get
you
the
get used
right.
to the
Maybe
pronunciation.
me, I'm using Yoruba intonation. So, but right. Thank you so much, everyone. I wanted to appreciate everyone one by one, especially for those that have commented. But I don't know, the rest stream is not really loading on my system now. But I want to say thank you so much, everyone. I would definitely message our guests to get, maybe he's going to send us a zip file for all the books he has suggested, the PDF versions and the template, so that you also will also be you also benefit from this, right? But Victor, thank you so much. I believe people there, if you can still hear me, I hope we are still live. Are you already saying thank you to our guests? I personally have been blessed. I personally will start moving closer to him. I never knew. Of course, I know Victor is very loaded, right? But I never have not, enjoyed
I'm also looking for
this.
you. I'm looking for you.
Right, but sincerely speaking, Victor, thank you so much. I'm really grateful. We are really grateful. Growth
Thank you
Network
very much.
Life Learning Podcast, we are really grateful for honoring our request. We are so excited, definitely, because money talk is hopefully going to be something we will also talk again, right? You have opened, several streams that we just need to, talk more on that. And money is something that, we said earlier that Christianity will love to shy away from it. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time, thank God for, our senior men of God that has pushed the frontiers, right?
I'm telling you.
That has pushed the frontiers that
I'm
Christians,
telling you.
you should not be behind when it comes to finance. That whenever they are talking to
So,
money, say, let the rich people in the family, let them be talking about it. For we, when the rich people feel anything they shall want us to do, we will do it, right? But I'm really excited that we are young and we are spreading this news that you don't have to be 50, you don't have to be 40 before you start doing stuff. You don't have to be 50, you don't have to be 40 before you start thinking or seeing stuff, before you start
mm-hmm.
thinking and imagining things and making things possible through finances, right?
I'm telling
Thank
you.
you so much, Victor, again, and God bless you. For everyone, thank you. My name is Olaviso Ege, and I'm your host here at Life Clinic Talk Show. Do well to subscribe, do well to follow us. This particular series will be on our Spotify page. Okay, Google Podcast said they want to close down. So it's going to be on Apple Podcast, on Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your podcasting from. Thank you. Till maybe next 2 weeks, right? It's going to be another time again, and God bless you. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very much.
Victor.
Have a
God
wonderful
bless
time.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much.